What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to yet another episode of the Mud Tire Media Podcast. I'm your host, Dan, and with me today is Jonathan.
What's going on, guys? Jonathan here.
And today's topic is going to be towing to the trail. Whether it's the ideal way to make it happen, or whether you're kind of a poser and you should be driving your rig to the trail on the roads. I mean, that's kind of the thing that it's been a hot button issue with some people. Like some people are like, nah, you got to overland and you got to drive 100 miles on full trail rig to get to the trails. Other people are like, no, you need that fallback. You need to be able to drive. So today, that's what I want to work on.
Yeah, I've been in both cases, and I've also been to SEMA and saw those Bluetooth drive shafts. It really makes a difference sometimes. And you think about like what's going to happen on the trail. Do you have like that Dana 30 or Dana 44? Have you upgraded to one tons? I know for me, sometimes you hit that skinny pedal too many times, and I don't know, you start warping and breaking stuff. So I really think to tow or not to tow is in the budget, because that's usually the struggle. And two,
that's a good point to bring up.
How much do you care about breaking shit? Because depending on the obstacle, we're East Coast, man. We don't have that dry granite rock. We pretty much 24/7 end up playing in slippery rock with mud. Okay. You got to get a little bit of wheel speed, which means usually you break stuff.
Yeah, so let's actually focus on, let's start at the beginning where, honest to goodness, we both started off just like everybody else, drove our Jeeps to the trails, right? And
yeah.
That's what we did for a good many years. We didn't have the budget for the tow rig, a trailer, and building a Jeep. So we started out
were we hitting trails hard enough to really break it, though?
That's a good point. How hard of a trail are you actually hitting? So I think that might be a big player in this. So,
because I mean, you'd be amazed what a stock Jeep will do. I mean, most people, I may or may not hypothetically in a dream know that you can get a nice brand new Rubicon JL from the airport rental, and it may or may not do very well at your local off-road park, and they are very
survive
capable.
A day to be able to be turned back in to the dealer at the end of the day.
Heard that's possible. And most people, it's really about what's your goal. Because when you think going off-road, it's like overlanding. Are you out just to look for waterfalls and seek adventure and see something new? Or is it, hey, that's a really tall ledge. That trail looks kind of badass. I wonder if we could do it.
And as you're talking, I'm looking up statute of limitations for damage to a rental vehicle, and it looks like 4 years from the date of the accident. So
we're good.
We might need to do a few edits on it. Delete. Got it. Okay. Yeah. So me and you both, we wheeled and we drove to the trail for many years because it wasn't in the budget. And we were still running Dana 44s. We were running, short arms for a while. But realistically, we were hitting some hard trails. We were not wheeling soft. So, and we weren't wheeling near the home either.
I think for me, it was when once a month you're calling 10 Factory and they pick up the phone and go, hey, Jonathan, and they know your voice because you've warped another axle shaft, and those were chromoly and they were legit. But at that point, that was the day that I bought a trailer. Actually, the next day, because we were at Beasley's Knob. Pretty intense.
We were trying to do Beasley with Dana 44s.
Yep, and
that's right.
I warped a rear axle shaft so bad that I could not drive it home, and I paid almost $1,000 bill to tow that thing home. And that's when I decided not again. I sat on the road for like 4 hours and finally, got home late that night. And I was like, yeah, from this point forward, I'm towing.
No, yeah. So, here I have proof of just how many axle shafts you went through. They're still sitting around the shop just waiting for an axle.
Yeah.
Because you broke them so much.
Yeah. But, and that was still with the stock 3.6. That's not like with a supercharger now. That was that pig, that toaster with, the minivan old, motor in there, has no torque, but yeah, they still warp.
Yeah. But do you regret driving that Jeep across country to go hit hard trails? Or did the
It
towing home at the end of the day make you regret your decisions on what you were doing?
so it really depends on how you think about that, because the parts of it that drove me nuts was when we camped out of the Jeep, you're loaded down with a lot of gear because you're
Yeah.
camping out of it. And a lot of times we would have to keep all that gear in the Jeep while on those trails. And then when we kind of migrated from there and got overland trailers, it made the harder trails easier to handle because we had an
Yeah.
established camping spot.
Oh,
And you
yeah.
didn't have as much junk in the back of that thing. I mean, they were still four-door Jeeps, but you're camping for a week, you got a lot of gear. And I think that
Yeah,
was really
true.
the big difference there is it was fun because we had the overland trailers. We had a legit setup. The trails got hard, but then it also got to a point to where it's like, now I'm towing. Well, if I mess up the Jeep, not only am I worried about getting the trailer home, but I'm also worried about getting the Jeep home too.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. So I'll actually show people right here. You can actually see. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So
Oh, those in
this was our
Alabama.
setup at the time. Yeah, that's right. Was that Hot Springs? That was a good trip.
No,
Um,
that might have been Hot Springs. Yeah, you're right.
th- I think Hot Springs. But at
Yeah, it
that
says Indian
time,
Mountains State Park. I don't know. One of
yeah.
those.
So yes, yeah, we met up around Indian Mountain to camp before we headed into Hot Springs. I think that was right.
Yeah.
But either way, that was where we evolved to. Not only were we driving Jeeps loaded to the gills with gear to go hit trails,
Hmm.
and not easy trails. We were hitting some rough trails. And we evolved. Our first stage of evolution was to get overlanding trailers, rooftop tents, pull out kitchens, and this was a sweet setup. I mean, in all of our range of how we've been wheeling over the decades, this was a lot of fun. That overland trailer was nice. Now, it still, as much as I loved that having that trailer and I loved the camping, I will say I still left with a lot of worry at the end of the day with the trails we were hitting and the
Hmm.
spare parts we were bringing. I still was uncertain when I was getting home at the end of some of these trails, because it was like, are we going to be, swapping an axle? Are we going to be hunting a new drag link
I mean,
before we can get home?
wasn't it just this last Windrock trip? It's a long day. We're like, we don't feel like cooking, right? So let's go get some pizza. I mean, that seems normal. So we
Yeah,
pull
yeah.
into the parking lot to get pizza and immediately realize, oh, yeah, this is the parking lot that we replaced the whole joint. I mean, U joints in because exactly that. I broke a U joint on a drive shaft in that parking lot
But like
with
an
a
hour and a half
trailer.
later, after a pizza in a parking lot, we had some funny stories. We have some memorable moments, and we made it home. We drove that thing home yet again.
Yep.
So I
I
can't
mean,
say that it was a failure. I mean, it works
no.
and on a budget.
Oh, it was. It was balling on a budget. I mean, that was the biggest thing is, both the trailers were custom. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not like we paid a company, massive amounts of money. We made them our own. We went out, we had some good times, but it still was at that point where we kept wheeling harder and harder. And then we realized, hey, I want to do that trail because other guys were.
Yeah.
And our
Yeah.
rigs just weren't capable. And the two things that you always have is like, okay, you've got the lift, but then you just got tire size. And I mean, what is it? Like 40s are now the like new 35s. I mean,
Oh, absolutely. If you're not 42s, you're not messing around. I mean,
exactly. So I mean, we just wanted to move to 40s. And you're not
yeah, what
putting
do they say?
40s on.
42s get you paid and 42s get you laid.
Yeah. Oh, I would love to get some 42s. Um, but I mean, at the end of the day, that's where I really feel like we finally went to that evolution of towing
Yeah.
because in my sake, I've got a JKU. We got a junkyard Dana 60 out of F350, grinded it down, did the truss kit for Motobilt, everything else. And then we got a 14 bolt in the back for, early 2000s 2500. And I have so many random demons with wheel speed sensors.
Yeah,
Like
true.
if you've done a swap, you know about it. And you're trying to trick ABS, you're trying to trick the TCU. I mean, it can be annoying. So it's like, okay, yeah, I could drive it. That thing rides smooth as hell down the road. I've got
Yeah.
great shocks. I've got long arms. I mean, I got adjustable shocks. It rides great. But then you could have that randomness that is the negative to swapping over to some of these junkyard balling on a budget builds. And that I
Yeah, it's
think
not
is where
100% like people think. It's not all just roses and I've got 1 tons and life is great. There's a lot
yeah,
of
I mean,
gremlins that
it
come with big
comes
mods.
with random issues. I mean, how many times has my transmission been like, "Nuh-uh, buddy, not doing that today." Especially when you throw a rip supercharger on a Jeep, and then it's
Yeah.
like, okay, we're not supposed to have this power. Like, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah, you
no.
irritated the crap out of that ECU for a while.
I mean, it gets
But
pissed at you.
so let me say this though, because we're on the debate wall of should you be hardcore and drive it to the trail and enjoy the full Jeep experience, or should you buy that big truck and trailer and all that goes with it and tow to the trail, which is exponentially a bigger cost. I mean, you think 1 tons are a big cost. Go add a 3/4 or 1 ton truck and a nice trailer and everything else and the maintenance.
It gets deep.
But yeah, so
Because
if
you'll do what
you
I did. You'll go get a 1500 and go, yeah, that 5.7 says, nah, buddy. And then you're like, oh, well, I'll get this Eco Diesel. I mean, this
yeah,
EcoBoost F-150 max tow package, 12,000 pounds. You know what? It'll pull it. It'll pull it for days. It ain't going to stop it.
yeah, but if you could take your 1 ton JKU with the massive school bus room that's inside that thing and pack it full like we used to in the day, drive it to the trail, no problems, no issues, wheel for the weekend, and then drive it back home. Right now, would you say that would be the better way to go still? I mean, if you could do that.
This is the thing.
No?
It's like if you're going to take your tire off your truck, can you go get a ratchet and put a cheater bar on and break it? Or are you going to go into the damn toolbox and get that brand new rigid impact and go psst, psst, psst. Once you have experienced that, why the hell are you using regular tools? And what I would say
Okay. All
is
right.
once I started towing, my mind shifted. But before that, I was all about the experience of going there, living in it. It was kind of pretty cool to I mean, you remember that one state park in Louisiana that they tried to run us out of?
Oh yeah, I
But we
remember
just
that.
literally drove through the park, randomly
Yeah.
found a spot, set up
You
camp.
boys going to get after it?
Yeah, you go get after it. I mean, how many
Dude,
times did
what
he
does that
ask us if we were
mean?
going to get after it?
You about to get after it?
And it was pretty awesome to have all your gear, you're mobile, you're nimble, and you can truly explore. So if your goal and intention is just to explore and hit mild to moderate trails, I think the Jeep's the way to go. But if you're going to a destination like, hey, I want to go to Gulches and hit everything there, you might break something.
Matter of fact, dear, check it out, Louisiana. There we were. These boys about to get after it. I'm telling you,
I mean,
like,
that's just
so
it.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I can see where people come from though, where they're like, no, dude, you're missing a piece of the experience if you're not driving that raggedy, rugged Jeep to the trail, throw the top back, and enjoy your Jeep as a just basic Jeep, not as a rock crawler, but as a Jeep. You've got your tent, you've got all your gear, and you're
It's
just
nice.
enjoying the time. And I can see where people would fight on that side of it though, because we did it.
Yeah.
We did it for so long, and it was great. I mean, there was a time. Let me say, there was a time that I never thought there would be anywhere that I would want to go and not be in a Jeep down the interstate, down the highway, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I would say the same boat. We drove everywhere because, I mean, I had to relocate to Texas. You were still in Georgia. So we met 2, 3 times a year at parks. Did we? I don't think we ever stayed at, well, actually, we did stay at a hotel once, but that's because the storm was so bad, our tents blew in on themselves. But
Yeah,
outside of
so
that
yeah,
time, we never
there's
stayed
an
at a hotel.
outlier. Yeah, and I will say that that's something I don't want to
I
give up.
mean,
That's been great.
yeah. And I mean, that's the thing. It's like even now where it's evolving, we're towing on a trailer, and now we're like, let's put rooftop tents on the heavy duty trucks.
Yeah, so that's yeah, and so that's where we're kind of hitting a hybrid. And I'll wait for that one. But so tell me this. Tell me the evolution. What was the next evolution that we took because nobody else knows? What was our next step beyond the rooftop tents and Jeeps on the trailers and whatnot?
I mean,
What was our next?
for me personally, it was that Beasley Knob trip where I was stuck on the road for hours, waiting for somebody to come tow me, paying almost $1,000. I came home like emotionally pissed. Like I was scarred because my pride got hit that I couldn't drive my Jeep home. And
Yeah,
I got to the
yeah,
point to where the trails that I wanted to do were giving me that risk. So it was like, okay, I got two options. One, pay for one tons. At that time, I mean, I couldn't drop that money. So the only other option was security trailer. So it was a choice that I had worse quality camping because then we went back to ground tents. I was like, damn it, we had all of this.
yeah, yeah.
And we went back
Well,
to ground camping so that we could trailer
yeah,
because we were breaking stuff that often.
that's true. Yeah, a lot
I
changed,
mean,
and it wasn't for the better for a while.
no, it wasn't. It was like, okay, even that chase of what can we do in the Jeeps, it became almost like an aggravation sometimes with a few of the trips to where it was just like, you go out there for 3 days and then on day two, what do we break? You can't even
Well,
ride trails the next day.
and this is the thing is like we said, we have not been just local wheelers. We originally when you lived in Texas and I was still in Georgia, we had an agreement. It was twice a year at minimum we were meeting on a different sides of the US. So we did a lot of interstate travel in those Jeeps just to go meet up on trails that we had never been to because we were always hitting something new. So we were
Yeah.
exploring, we were driving hundreds of miles, over 1,000 miles sometimes. And, we were carrying camping gear. We had, when we evolved to the overland trailers, then we had the risk of, well, you can't just throw one thing on a trailer. Now, if I pay to get this Jeep trailered home because I busted it that bad, I've got to tow now my Jeep and the overlanding trailer back home with it. So if we were a little more wrangled in what we were wheeling, I could understand this would be still viable. Um, but like we said, once we evolved from that, we started. It was just definitely after Beasley Knob, and we spent half the night on the side of the road and trying to figure out what to do about your axles that are bent or your shafts that are bent, and messing
And
with that.
that was like the seventh one in a year and a half.
Yeah,
And
yeah. So things were getting
that was
pretty
the
bad.
point for me to where, like I said, I called Tin Factory and they're like, hey, Jonathan, what's up? You just need another one? Okay, it's out. Now, granted, amazing customer service, amazing products, not knocking them. I was just definitely wheel speed,
Yeah.
hammering it.
I mean, you were managing it though. You kept it running, and they were honoring a warranty, so there wasn't really a problem other than getting home. That's the whole
Yeah,
thing that we fall
it
back to
was
is
getting
just
home.
getting
And
home.
then all of a sudden, my Jeep's down for another week again, everything else. And it's like, okay, just, yeah, it was a struggle.
Okay. So back to where we were. So we ended up getting trucks. We finally said, screw this life. We sold the overland trailers and we both got trucks, just tow rig trucks. And I can show, let's see, I will share my screen here. I've got actually a photo. Yeah, here we go. So you can see that was one of our trips.
Oh, that's in
I don't even
Memphis.
Yeah, that was outside of Memphis.
Yeah.
I had the Ram and you were running the 1500.
No,
And
that's the
this,
F-150.
yeah, 150, that's right. So that was a lesson in itself because you kind of took a different route. I kind of went the way I usually do, and I chose the biggest gun I can find for the situation. And you tried to be a little more conservative,
Well,
especially with
my
you living
problem
more in a
was,
city.
I had a job that at that time required me to have to go in and out of parking garages. So I had a limit of if it can't fit or something that was about 6.5 feet, that was how I made my money. So
I mean,
buying
come
a
on, let's lift it enormously high fly or walk an extra 20 minutes to where you gotta go work. Oh
Yeah,
man, I'm just saying,
no,
you know?
I was going out of 5, 6 parking garages a day because of my job, we had to go to
Yeah.
apartment complexes. It was one of those that was like, it's just not happening. It wasn't in the cards at the time.
So yeah, so you took the route of a 1500 size chassis at that point. I was running a 2500 size chassis, and this was kind of a change in our style. And so now the interesting thing about this is that
I've went through 3
can you
trucks since
agree?
then.
Can you agree that this too has its own levels of pitfalls? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
you've got
I
to
mean,
admit.
in my
So
case, it was
yeah,
also balling on a budget. Like, okay, I bought the best 1500-ish truck I could to do it. That
yeah.
was a $2,500 trailer I found on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, it
So,
was, and it's still
yeah.
$2,500 trailer
Oh,
all the way
it
through.
is. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's that trailer's been through some stuff. It's been through it. But,
Yeah,
you
that thing
know,
looks like it's rehabbing off crack, man.
it's I it's close. It's close.
Yeah, yeah,
But, I mean, it was one of those that was like, that's what it took,
yeah, yeah,
because we're not the guys that are taking it to a shop and dropping, 50, 60K and having somebody build our stuff, or,
yeah.
we're just two working class guys wanting to go hit the trail.
True. So what was your pitfall when you moved in from driving to the trail to from driving your Jeep to the trail to driving a truck, trailer, and rig to the trail? I mean, what
Well,
changed? What would you say would be a downfall in that? Because I mean, it
well,
sounds
it was like
perfect.
you went from I'm driving the Jeep to the trail. I have a great experience, but I'm still camping. As you got older, you're like, oh, I'm too old for this. I don't want to sleep on the ground, or I don't have to set up camp every time. And then we went, okay, now we do have the trailers. Oh, I grew up, moving on up, got that. And then we realized, hey, we're breaking our stuff. So then we go backwards again. Yeah, I moved up in one category, but we downgraded in another. So
Yeah,
each
camping
time there
really
was a
started to
pit.
suck.
Yeah, camping started to suck again. And it's like, you don't know what you don't know until all of a sudden you don't have it anymore. And it was like,
And
we
think
didn't
about
realize
this.
how good we had it.
We had the option, like Louisiana, the picture I showed a minute ago. We had the ability to, as we're driving our rigs, our Jeeps down the interstate, we had the option to look on maps and go, where is a local WMA or a state park or somewhere? And we would go, and we could go on Onyx, and we could find a pinned campsite
Anywhere.
off a side trail, and we could just pull off, and with those two overland trailers, just pull off, pull into a small campsite, throw up camp for a few hours, sleep, get back on the road, and keep crossing the country. But
That
when
trailer
we
I had was so light that my wife, 120-pound 5'2", could grab the tongue of it and roll it over to a site. So, I mean, when
Yeah,
you
that's
think
right.
about the versatility of
You could
having
put
a
that thing
setup like that
anywhere. Yeah.
anywhere.
Yeah. And so we had a sweet setup in that fact. I mean, the Jeep life, like you, if you think about it that way,
Yeah.
so much better. The experience was, I guess you could say, raw. It was a raw experience back then
Yeah.
because
There
I mean,
was
there was
nothing
so much
like
better camping.
taking, depending on the phase of my Jeep, either I had a soft top or I had a hard top. So, I mean, you drop freedom tops, you pull, the soft top back either way, still pulling your
Yeah.
trailer, mountain roads, fresh air. And then you just go, hey, what's that? I don't know. Let's just turn down check. I mean,
Yeah,
now
that we did that. Yeah.
with a 20-foot trailer, hey, what's that? Well, I'm like, well, with my backup skills, that looks like a bad idea.
And
So
that's
it
exactly
changes
it.
it.
Since we moved to the truck, trailer, and rig, the thing that has changed more than anything else has not been the fun at the trails. So that's still actually that's increased. But what has changed the most is our camping experience and the experience of adventure. I would say that more than anything, the experience of adventure really got affected when we moved to truck and trailer because, like you
Yeah,
said, we
it did.
cannot just pull down any little road. We have to choose campsites that are big enough for a truck, trailer, and rig to go on. We've got to have the ability and know that whatever we're going down, we've got to have room to get these trailers turned around. So Yeah, we're a lot more structured, planned. We did not sleep in a campsite or in a hotel traveling until we got trailers, and sometimes we're forced to do it then because you can't just pull off in the same campsites.
I mean, it definitely changed it a lot. It goes back to the very beginning, like you said. It depends on what your goal is. I mean, if you're just getting out and exploring, I mean, drive that Jeep and enjoy it. But at
Yeah,
the point that you hit, if you're grading trails 1 to 10, you're hitting those eights, those nines, those tens. It's not if you're going to break something, it's when. I mean, if you
yeah,
will, it's going to happen. And then it's like, okay, like us, how many spare parts do we keep in our rigs,
right,
and all the
exactly. For
tools and
that
everything
reason.
else? Because we know something's going to happen, but still we push it a little bit harder
Yeah.
because we know
We
we have that
literally
trailer.
go out there knowing that we have a trailer with us and pretty much just piss in the face of fate, just daring it to kill us just because we know that if I roll it, I'll just shove it on a trailer. Somebody will winch each other's Jeep onto the trailer and get it home. So
Yeah.
and that's I guess that would lead into the final part of this, which would be what would you, if you had to itemize and somebody was like, well, what is, you just said the best experience is driving a Jeep down the highway. The best experience was pulling that Overland trailer, having the best camping, the best experience with the top back, the wind in your hair, the sound of the mud tires roaring down the interstate at 80 miles an hour for 10 hours. That's great. I love it. It's awesome. But, God, I still hear it. But
Yeah. I mean,
what
it's
would
one
you
of those too.
say? Yeah, go ahead.
When I think about it, you know how they say buy once, cry once?
Yeah.
So the Jeeps and the trucks and the trailers, I feel like have also been a learning experience because going back, you know how you dump a lot of money into something and you don't get rid of it because you spent that much money in it? You know who you are. Um,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
if I had to do it over again, I would have like a JKU with built 44s on 37s with an Overland setup. And I went through 4 versions trying to make it better. Like how much money did
yeah,
I,
you
I
did.
could have bought a TJ and built it almost to the level of your rig for the amount of money I dumped in between trying to make it good enough.
That's
And
true.
I mean, if you look at the money spent on that stuff, I mean, that's what it takes to make a JKU capable of that. So it's like
Yeah.
instead, have one for each. And I will say this, I've owned a F-150, I've owned a Ram, I've owned a 2500, gasser from Ram, and then now I've got a diesel. If that bug bites you, it's hard to have anything else,
Yeah, so
and
tell
from
me
the
that
truck
because
perspective.
you're hitting right down the road that I think the final phase of this should be, which would be after you bought a truck. Could you list out, I mean, like bracketize what are the actual benefits of having that truck and trailer combo? If somebody was like, dude, you just told me that the best experience was driving that Jeep to the trail. So what how could you possibly pitch moving to a truck and trailer at this point?
Because where do we live? North Georgia. Where do we go all the time? 3 hours away in Rock. Was it Gulches? Is what, like 4 for us? Stony
Gulches is
Lonesome's
five and a
like,
half.
yeah, okay, 5.5 hours. You get Stony Lonesome 6 hours away. If you're driving that far in that Jeep with those expensive mud tires, the wear and tear, the roar of yeah, it's great when you're slowly carving the mountains. But when you're going far, no. Like I'm in a PRP suspension seat. It's great for the trail. It's not so great for 4 hours of just beating your kidneys.
Yeah.
And that's the big piece. It's like, okay, you're going to hit trails, but you're probably going to get bored of the ones around you and want to go further explore. And then when you have a built up, I mean, even that Jeep on 30, actually, I think I was on 38s with the Medina 44s. It wasn't the most comfortable ride.
No, you sacrifice so much, and when you're building them to really survive some of these trails that we're going down, you really
Yeah,
do
you
start
have
creeping down that
Heims.
rate. The noises, the pops and the squeaks, yeah, just
I mean,
of
you
course
have high
everything's
quality
tighter.
brakes
Running
that
Heims,
squeak.
oh, it's noisy.
Yeah,
And I'll tell
it's a
you,
lot.
I dreamed of the day of having a Jeep on coilovers and 1 tons until the day that I have a Jeep on coilovers and 1 tons. And my God, the noise from these coilovers when you go down the road, you hear it.
Oh,
You hear people go, "Oh yeah, the coils they spin, which causes popping noises every time you get in and out, and if you take corners and yada yada." And you're like, "Dude, why are you crying? You drive a Jeep on 1 tons and coilovers. Like that is the dream." There are kids in their living rooms looking at, watching these YouTube videos going, "God, I wish I could have that." Dude, when you get there, it sucks
no.
some days. When you're not on a
I
trail,
mean,
it
that's
sucks.
that's one of the main reasons I've sat there and went, "Do I want to go coils after being on my Falcon 3.3 adjustables just
I
for
don't know that
that?"
you need to. I don't know that you need to. But okay, so backtracking to the whole truck. So tell me, because I know the answer. Tell me, how does it feel to drive down the road in a 1 ton full size truck, towing your Jeep behind you for 10 hours to the trail? I mean, are you not missing that raw experience?
I'll tell you what it's like. It's like coming home after a long day of work, sitting in your favorite recliner and doing a 2-inch pour of whiskey
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
because it is a completely different experience sitting in that space, that comfort. You're just floating on a cloud. I I had, the 1,500 trucks and the everything else, but it was like then you're the bouncing, like it can't handle it, or I don't know if I'm
Yeah.
gonna be able to brake as I go down the mountain sometimes.
Yeah.
These trailer
Yeah.
brakes really strong enough. Now you're in a 1-ton truck. You're just like, this is my problem. Hey, is that trailer still back there? Like, is it still there? Because I can't
Well,
feel it.
yeah, to
I
go
mean,
even
it
deeper,
doesn't care.
it's you don't know the Jeep's behind you, but you are
No.
in a truck that, well, we are in trucks that are literally made basically for hot shotters. That they are made to sit in for long periods, tow heavy loads, and do it efficiently. So this is twofold. One, not only am I more comfortable in my Ram than I could ever have imagined in a Jeep, I'm so comfortable. I have all this room. I mean, it's just there's no want for a better interior. I
Yeah.
feel so good. But then because we went the route of going with a diesel truck, you and I both get exponentially better miles per gallon towing than we even got in our Jeeps when we were pulling those overland rigs.
Yeah. I mean, I can get close to 20 plus towing in my F350 versus my Jeep was getting maybe 10, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's amazing how fast you can weigh down one of those 3.6s with a well outfitted overland trailer, and quickly with 40-inch mud tires and an overland trailer behind you, your miles per gallon just plummet. I mean, it's like Malaysia Airlines just drops out of the air. I mean, that graph looks
Oh yeah.
bad.
But word to the wise, don't go buy a 6.4 Hemi 2500 because you will
I would
also only get
murder
8
you if you
miles to
went
a
down
gallon.
that road again. So,
That
for the
trip to
people who
Texas
don't know, that was our absolute worst trip we have ever been on. And let me explain
towing.
what made it the worst. Is not only were you running a 6.4 Hemi that was thirstier than an alcoholic on day 3. No, I had the Gladiator with the Eco Diesel. So even on 39s, I was going down the interstate getting 21, 22 miles per gallon with 39-inch tires. And
Oh
I
yeah.
could
That thing was a
drive that damn
beast.
thing forever. And every fifth exit after fueling up, I would hear you on the radio going, "Hey, we need to start looking for a gas station. I'm getting low again." Uh, dude, our our rate of movement on that trip was
No.
abysmal.
It was horrible. Like
You single-handedly
that
ruined
Hemi.
my faith in gas heavy duties.
The thing is, from a towing capacity capability, it was an animal. It was an absolute animal, but that was just it. It was that, crackhead gotta eat 24/7, give me some red balls because it needed to
Yeah.
go.
it
I
it
mean,
needed that fix
Tyrone
every 5
Biggins,
minutes.
that Ram was Tyrone Biggins.
Yes, man. It just unreal fuel consumption in that thing. And that single-handedly, I think that ruined the budget for that trip by far.
Oh,
But
I mean, I spent probably $1,500-$1,600 just on fuel.
That was nuts. So we've ruled out that gas heavy duties like the 6.4 should burn in hell and never return.
Yeah.
And diesels are, God's gift to man. And
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, there's plus and minus a whole bunch of stuff there, but if you're towing a rig, if you're towing, you're going to be at least 7,000 pounds. It's just between your
yeah,
trailer
you
and your
are.
rig, you're going to be at 7K. At that point, you're already pushing the limit on their brakes on any 3/4 ton truck.
Well, let me say, I mean, so yeah, I was going to ask you that. So yeah, we went big time. You went with a 3 F350. You have a 6.7 F350. I run a
You're
6.7
not allowed to
in
say
a
six
Ram
seven. Please
2500.
don't.
Yeah,
If our
don't.
kids
Let's
hear
not go down
that,
that road.
no,
Let's
no.
just pretend I didn't even go down that road.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, I mean, some people, why would the 1,500 not work? You can get a 1,500 for a fraction of the price of the heavy duty. So, I mean, like we're comparing driving Jeeps to the trail versus truck and trailer. So why not go ahead and go down this road? Truck and trailer. If I said I want to go get a 97 F250, I mean F150, because I mean I can get one of those for $4,500, still running like a champion. Give me a
You
twenty
ain't
five
pulling
hundred dollar
7K?
trailer.
I
No,
mean,
no,
you're
but
not.
I could those F150s. They still had a tow rating of around 8,800 pounds, so it's within their realm. Why not? Why not? It would work.
It says it will, and I can tell
Yeah,
you it says it will, but the pucker factor and the anxiety is not worth it.
yeah.
Like it for us, just in North Georgia, you go over the mountain, you get over there in Chattanooga, you start going down. I mean, you're going down what 11-12% grade, and people drive crazy. I mean, nobody respects you when you have a trailer. I feel bad for truck drivers.
It's true.
Nobody respects you on the road. And for me, it was the braking.
See right there. There's one of my gaudy
See,
ass old
there's
tow vehicles.
that thing did the job for a while though. It did.
She
Those wheels
did.
were horrible.
She was in the club of abysmal fuel mileage and a true testament to the Ford cam phaser issue, especially
Oh
after it
yeah.
blew a hole through the valve cover. But yeah, that thing, the fuel mileage in that F-150 was one of the number one reasons why I go with diesel now.
Yeah, I mean it was absolutely horrible.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just you don't know what you don't know until you experience it. And some people are like, "Hey, it's just what this whole conversation honestly has been around what's your preference and what are you willing to put up with?" Because
yeah.
it's like you want a great camping experience, but then do you want to explore or do you want to hit hard trails? Are you just, TLCing it just chasing waterfalls? I mean, it really depends on what you want.
Man,
And
I think you're so
I
right.
that's just the biggest phase because there's so many people out there. What's the first question they ask us every Jeep Jamboree? Are you okay with
You
body
guys good with
damage?
body damage? Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the question I would say to any person listening or viewing. If you ever at a point are okay with body damage, you need a trailer.
That's a good point. I like that.
If you are at the point that you're like, I'm going to possibly have body damage, that means you're hitting something hard enough to also break your rig. And
Yeah.
I would say
Yeah.
what percentage of, and I don't even want to say Jeep owners because there's some badass Forerunners, Tacomas, there's some FJs. I mean, just tons of Yodas
Oh,
out
look,
there.
look. The Tacoma Beast videos,
That-
sick. I mean,
There's
just
some
sick.
Titans out there
Oh,
now.
so good.
There's some Frontiers. I mean, I've seen some sick rigs, all makes models, but are you okay with damaging them? And I say, if you're like, I don't care about pinstripes, I'm not saying pinstripes, I'm talking about like physical damage, that's when you need to switch, would be my thought.
Yeah, I think I could get behind that. That makes a lot of sense. So if you could hit the trail tomorrow, if tomorrow you were loading up and you had the option of running your JKU and its highlight and its heyday of fully built and trust Dana 44s that drove like a dream down the interstate, and you were going 2 hours away to go hit some trails, right? And you wanted to camp. you wanted to wheel, you wanted to go, you're going to drive a few hours. Would you rather have your Jeep in its heyday on Dana 44s fully built out so they'll be fairly reliable except for maybe a
Yeah.
vent shaft? Or would you stick with a fully built rig and truck and trailer?
2-hour trip, probably my
Yeah.
JQ on 44s. Because it's all right. If you are trailering, it's a process.
I don't
You're
know,
loading
man.
up. You're loading up. Now, I will say
Yeah.
though, you have two faults because after we put the weld on hook points on my Jeep,
Mhm.
I mean, before it was a process, you're wrapping the axle, getting everything centered. Now we're at the point to where it's like roll up, hook, 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 hook. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah. We've
But
leveled up our trailer
that's
game pretty high.
but that's because we've put the Jeeps on those trailers so much we know exactly where they go. But the whole point I'm
Yeah.
getting at is you could be sitting 1 o'clock on the afternoon, go, hey, I'm gonna do this, and just go. There's no prep because our Jeeps were always ready. There's a fridge in
They
there
were.
now. It's packed out with meals. We have heaters. I got a cutting board and a kitchenette. Like there's all the fluids, all the tools, everything's in the Jeep right now. So you could just no thinking, no planning, adventure.
Yeah. True. I will say for me,
But I'm also now married with kids and there's planning on every damn thing.
yeah. I would say
We
for
also
me, my
we didn't have
choice.
kids then. We
Oh,
did not have
we
kids
didn't.
then.
That was a different life.
That you know what?
But
All of this, we did not put that variable in there when we were talking about the stuff because it was easier for us to just tell our wives they're going to do something and they didn't have to worry about where the kids going because we didn't have kids at that time. So every single time I said, "Hey babe, I'm going on a Jeep trip," she would just go do something with the girls.
yeah. Now she's just mad that you left her alone.
Exactly.
With all the
So
responsibility.
there was also that factor of we explored, but we were spontaneous with it too because we
You
had that
know,
ability.
I should have asked this different. I should have said, would you rather drive 2 hours away on your old rig that was perfect for overlanding and camp for, 2 days without your overland trailer? Or would you rather drive 16 hours with a fully built rig on a trailer?
Of the 16 hours all day.
Yeah, that's the answer. I knew I was like, I should have phrased
Day.
this a little different. I should have left some
Yeah.
separation because there's a sweet spot
Those
for
long
both of these.
those long trips, man. I mean, I think when we went to Llano, that's up there in, North Texas.
Yeah,
And
that was
I mean,
so
no, that
good.
was South Texas. Never mind.
South
Paladuro
Texas.
was North Texas.
Mhm.
But either way, both those trips, like something about having the mics, riding down the road, chatting about mods, chatting about things we want to do, just on
With
the
seat
road.
coolers running, because you got to throw that in. Seat coolers running.
Yeah. Oh,
and
100%.
so
Great
good.
speakers,
So good.
everything else, comedy radio, road
Yeah.
snacks, no kids, no wife.
There's something about those
Just
road trips that was a part of the
for me, I
jeeping,
just
the off-road
enjoy
experience that I didn't know I liked.
yeah, for me, it's calming. I thoroughly enjoy that trip. After I bought a diesel truck and started towing, it changed everything.
That was the
It
point that I fell in love with a big truck. I actually found that I actually like trailering. I actually like towing a big trailer.
yeah,
Who would
yeah.
have thought?
At
And
first, transparently, I was a little nervous
yeah,
because I'd never trailered. I had never
yeah, true.
trailered anything in my life. And the very first time I trailered, it was over 1,000 miles.
Yeah. But I mean, you catch
Seriously.
on to it really quick. So, and when you have a
But
truck that is fully decked out with surround view cameras and proximity sensors, it does help out a lot anyway.
mean,
So,
mine even has the sensor to where I plug in the trailer length and the blind spot monitors tell me if there's a car in my trailer's blind spot. I mean,
yeah,
it's spoiling you a little bit, bro. And it's
these
freaking
trucks are
awesome.
the epitome of luxury, and like I said before, they are made to long haul. So,
I
yeah,
mean,
I
it's
think
got mine's got seat massagers in it. It's a little sad.
yeah, it's so good. But I really think that if you I think it's not so much what trails are you hitting as much as it is how far are you going.
Mhm.
And I'll be honest with you, my TJ, my LJ, whatever this thing is, J at this point now, Franken
I
J.
call it the Frank it's a Franken J. I mean, it
Yeah,
pretty much
it's a
is.
Wrangler. Just Wrangler. We'll just go with Wrangler. The after driving this thing just 1 hour north of us, after doing just a 1 hour drive with me and my boy heading to a local off-road trail, I can honestly say that I don't miss that. I would
No.
rather throw this thing on a trailer and drive 1 hour away just to go really beat on it and do everything that I would
Well,
ever want to do and feel like I got my full use out of the off-road experience rather than drive this thing. And I would any day I would happily load up and drive halfway across the country to go hit new trails and see new scenery. That is
yeah.
by far the best experience. So
Well,
I
my
am I
struggle is
am big
about to
truck and trailer all
change.
day.
My struggle with all of it's about to change because, for many of the viewers, you don't know this, but, parking my trailer is an absolute bitch. And I say
It's
that because
hilarious.
the only place I can put it in my yard is 9 foot wide, and the trailer is about 8.5 feet wide. So, and it's at an incline. So for me, it is a process to take the trailer out. As
Yeah.
for you, you just open up the back gate, back up, grab it, you're ready to go. Luckily
Well,
for
the
me, in about
difference
three,
is
I
also I built my house and my backyard around vehicles and trailers. When we were building
yeah,
the house, I knew I needed a backyard with a fence this so wide so that I can
yeah.
easily bring extra wide trailers out. I need my garage doors extra wide. So
Look,
yeah,
I
I
didn't
I
have a
was
sugar mama.
pre-planned. So
I didn't
yeah.
have a sugar mama.
Yeah. Well, can't all be gifted like that. I don't know, man.
Look, when you have my looks, you can't get sugar mamas, so you gotta go out there and grind. I mean, that's just what it was.
Dang it.
I mean, lucky for me though, we are actually about to close on a new house that I'm gonna have that space, and it's gonna make that process.
Congratulations.
Yep, it's that, and literally, the search
That's
for a
gonna be
house
so
was
great.
about where can I build a shop for my lifted F1 350 and my Jeep to fit in. I need at least 9 foot, garage doors because I mean at the end of the day, you have antennas that go up, everything else. And I mean, that's been the struggle. So it's like it's crazy how many things in our life have evolved around the joy that we've had with these vehicles. I mean, I have
Yeah.
owned, I mean, how many vehicles have I owned while I've owned this Jeep? Can you count?
Too freaking
Because
many. That's all.
but the point I'll say is this is the longest I've kept a vehicle.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it's not. It's the longest I've kept a vehicle and continued to drive a vehicle
Okay,
because
that's a good point. Yeah.
we all know
So
about those
except
project
the Jeep
cars.
is so great. Yeah. But the Jeep is that great and it's that enjoyable. So you've kept it longer than any other vehicle in your life, but
And
with a
I'm a guy that
caveat
gets
because
new
it's great
vehicles
in a
all the
certain area.
time.
Yeah.
I mean, I've went through in the ownership of the Jeep, I've had 9 other separate secondary vehicles.
Hmm.
And that's of 8, 9 years.
Which
Oh
says
shit,
a
it's 9.
lot about the vehicle in itself, though.
Yeah,
But
I mean, I've just had that much enjoyment, even all the way down to that's the vehicle that we took my son home from the hospital, and he's still from birth on loves top back, windows down,
so you would
exploring.
say that no doubt truck and trailer is your preferred, right? That's what it
100%
sounds
now.
like. 100%
Truck and
now.
trailer all day.
So I'm in the same boat. Me personally, I could never go back and do away with the truck and trailer. I think it's absolutely worth the hassle of loading and unloading a trailer, and the things that you have to give up. Uh, if you had to summarize the experience of trailering your vehicle to the trail, what would be your one word answer to summarize trailering to the trail?
Glorious. It's just absolute glorious. You feel like a
Yeah,
badass rolling down the road. Like, I mean, that's in itself because, well, I mean, the Jeep is pretty badass. It speaks for itself, but the comfort, all my stuff's there. I have spare everything. I have all the
yeah.
storage. I don't have to stress about am I
You
going to
know,
make it home? And I'm comfortable.
mine.
So because when you're in the Jeep all day, I mean, I'm 41, about to be
Yeah,
42.
yeah,
Like our bodies are not young anymore. So it's like you get sore and you want that comfortable ride home, man.
yeah. Me, I'm split between comfort or security. I'm split
it's
between those two,
if it's
but
100% the
you know,
both. Uh,
yeah.
it's comfort and security. I feel like that's
It was
somebody's
it was
slogan.
yeah, it's comfort and security. ADT.
Mud Tire Media.
This episode is sponsored by ADT. Call now.
Comfort.
All right. Well, I think we've run this out as far as we can, and we've narrowed it down to absolutely truck and trailer is the way that you want to go. If you haven't done it yet, you're missing out. So sorry, you need to get with the group. No,
Yep.
we totally understand if you are it's got to be hardcore and tow your rig and all your gear to the trail. That's awesome. But for us and our stage of life and the style of wheeling we do, because the trails that we're hitting, absolutely. The safety,
Yeah.
that safety net of being able to trailer and drag that thing back home when I'm done leaves me at the end of the day knowing that I hit all trails I wanted to hit and did not back down just because I needed to take it home at the end of the day. I feel fulfilled at the end of all my trips.
I mean, especially when you're only doing 2 or 3 big trips a year because you're a working parent,
You got to make it
everything
work.
else.
Yeah. Make it worth it.
So
Yeah.
make that trip worth it. You don't want to go home and go, man, I wish I would have hit that trail. Man, I wish I would have made it up this. It's like, if you're there for a person, you're there for an impact. Just make the best
Yeah.
of it.
And let's not forget that we sat around a campfire for an hour on our last camping trip, our last off-roading trip, whining about missing the days when we had overlanding trailers. So we're hypocrites.
I mean,
we're hypocrites,
yeah.
man.
It's the same thing, but it's also sparked to where I'm now looking at, hey, I'm going to put some, a trailer-esque design, but on my
Yeah.
truck. I never thought I would get a heavy duty truck and put some bars and a rooftop tent, and that's probably going to be my next purchase. I mean,
one more stage of
probably
morphing into the
we should probably do a video about the setup that you have now. What's the name of that company?
the off-road four-wheel drive.
Yeah, probably should do a video about that.
I'm sorry, open road. Open road.
Open road.
Well, I'm just
okay.
We've been talking about off road so much, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. And I love that tent too. It was good sleep.
I'm going to have to get something similar. So, I mean, that's where I feel like we've morphed. And now at this point, we can combine those two. So, where now we have security and we have comfort. So, we're back.
Maybe that's the next episode. We start talking about how we enter the next stage of our off-roading experience, where we're actually building out heavy duty trucks just to complement our Jeeps when we're going on these trips.
Yeah, now it's Jeeps pulling overland trailers. Now it's heavy duty overland trucks.
Heck yeah. All right.
Jeep trailers.
It's on. Next episode. We got to figure it out. All right, man. Well, thanks for coming in and talking with me for a little while and taking up some of your night. And I'm sure we'll get back together and do another one. Maybe this next episode you can key in with me one more time.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you having me on.
All right. Guys, thank you for hanging out, listening to us ramble, and I hope you agree with us. If not, let me know. Let us know why you disagree, why you think that driving to the trails and bringing and lugging all that crap with you in your Jeep is the better route, because you're wrong. But, let me know. All right. We've made everybody sufficiently angry.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Hope a great night and get to work in the garage. See you.
Appreciate y'all.